Welcome to the Fundraising Leadership Podcast, where we talk about topics related to fundraising, leadership, coaching, and management. I'm Janice Cunning.
Hi, I'm Margaret Katz, Cann, and we are part of the fundraising leadership team. Today on our bonus podcast, we are lucky to have Laura Champion. Laura is the chair of an event called Congress, although this year it's not Congress, and we'll hear more about that. Congress is the get-together for the Association of Fundraising Professionals in Toronto, and it is normally 1,000 delegates who come to this event, and Laura is going to share with us a little bit about how she took a 1,000-person event and has turned it into something virtual and safe. So Laura, tell us a little bit about your personal journey.
Thanks, Margaret. Thanks, Janice. I'm so excited to be on your podcast. It's been a heck of a journey. I think we've all seen 2020 surprise us in so many ways. And I've been involved with the event, AFP Toronto Congress, for almost 7 years now in different capacities. And for the past 3 years have known that I would be chair in 2020 and really had been building to this for so many years and was so excited. I had been pre-planning things, building my team, really trying to kind of flex all the right muscles. And certainly one of the things that I had been focusing on and still am, honestly, over the past couple of years is growing my management skills, growing my leadership skills. And in a volunteer placement, it's such a great place for me to kind of experiment with that in a more kind of safe and structured environment. And so I started to plan my events, and then 2020 hit. So, not just COVID, but, all of the new and wonderful conversations that we're having across all sectors, and, hitting the fundraising sector. And so when it first hit, we didn't know exactly what would happen to the event. There is a new executive director of our chapter who, is kind of a single person band over there with some support. But we were put on pause. And after 7 years of picturing myself on that stage, suddenly I thought the carpet was pulled out from under me and that it was all over, which was devastating, honestly, and hard to kind of work my way through. But luckily, we found our footing, and as you noted in your intro, Margaret, we came up with Not Congress, which is everything that Congress isn't. And so we take it quite literally, actually, this year. No one will be in person, so that's different, but we've also changed the pricing, we've changed our speakers lineup, we've changed a lot of things because it is in fact not Congress. And I've really come to a place of just being beyond excited now. It's been an adventure and a half, and the bags under my eyes keep getting bigger, but it's worth every second, and I'm really excited to kind of see it come to fruition.
Yeah. Laura, I think you have this experience now. There are so many people in the fundraising community who have had traditional events that have really mattered for education, for fundraising, for connection, and everything feels a little bit like chaos right now. But I think what we love about your story is that you've looked for ways to create from the chaos and get innovative. So tell us a little bit, maybe starting with the format.
Yeah, for sure.
What sort of innovation, best practices, what do we need to know?
Yeah, I love create from the chaos because I really feel like that has 100% been what I'm doing. So we moved a 1,000-person in-person conference that has historically been held at the Metro Toronto Convention Centre, so a huge space, flying people in from all over the world to an entirely virtual conference. So we have engaged with one of our audiovisual partners from past years to use their platform, which is going to allow for just so much more accessibility. It was the second I saw the platform, I thought, this is an opportunity, this isn't a challenge. And it was one of those moments, had I known about create from the chaos in that moment, I would have capitalized on it in that moment, because now we can and are having closed captioning in every session. We are doing American Sign Language interpretation in every session, things that we couldn't do before, because logistically having humans in each room for other humans just it wasn't gonna work. But now we had budget available because we're not paying for, you know, chicken dinners, and we're not paying for, you know, physical building space in a way that we thought we had to historically. And it's that, are we doing it because we've always done it, or are we doing it because it's the right thing to do? And so it's been a really interesting opportunity to ask myself that question throughout, and to allow ourselves to invite globally people to participate in a conference that warms my heart just to think about.
Yeah, I love that. It's that idea, right, of like taking something that really feels like an obstacle, and like Margaret said, like when there's chaos, suddenly you start to question like everything. Like, why have we always done it like this? Why have we maybe wanted to have, you know, a language interpreter, but not been able to, right? And it'll be interesting to see where the event goes, like once it's actually back in person, right? And what you take from this experience. But yeah, so it, like, I will say, I remember getting an email from you as the chair recently, Laura, and it was like, you can be in two places at once, right? So it's also like, maybe talk a little bit about the way you're positioning the event, because it has this joyous, it is different, and it is an opportunity feeling how you're promoting it.
Yeah, thanks. I have always said, and it's very specific to me, and I know not everybody knows this feeling, but the Monday morning of Congress, I wake up and I feel like I'm a kid on Christmas morning. And I truly feel that joy of seeing my colleagues getting the education, being in a space of growth and opportunity in a way that you just don't necessarily get. And from moment one, in the before times and now, the word I keep using is joy. I want people to feel what I feel. I want people to understand why I feel this way about what could be just looked at as a silly professional conference. And I want everybody also to feel that they're included and welcome, because it's not a corporate conference in the way that you're used to, and it's not every other webinar that you've been in, not to slag webinars, there's some good webinars. It's something different, it's something new, and it's for you. No matter the you I'm talking about, it's for you. And I want people to know that and not think, ugh, it's Congress, I've heard about it, or I've been there, done that. It's not what it was.
Yeah, when you talk about that Christmas morning spirit, you know, I think many of us who spend a lot of time on Zoom or virtual things, that's not what we're always feeling. So do you have some ideas, some learnings, you know, how are you going to infuse aliveness into the content?
Yeah, I think it's everybody just has to be authentic and be who they are. And that's something that I have earnestly brought to the membership association through a number of things over the years. Because I think if you are authentically who you are, you can be joyful and you can earnestly participate in a way that gives you the satisfaction and the growth that you're looking for something. And so how we're going to do that with people is invite them to come as they are. If you want to wear pajamas and come to Congress, this is the year to do it. We are going to have a host, contract not yet signed, so I won't say their name, but who is joy incarnate, who will speak between sessions to bring everybody together. And, you know, we're doing yoga sessions. We're going to do a trivia night. We're going to do things that can provide this menu of opportunities. And, you know, I say all of those things and people will think like, I'm not sitting on Zoom for 12 hours, Laura. But the fun thing is with Not Congress is you don't have to. If you register, you have access to all of the educational sessions for the next 6 months. So you can register and just go to trivia night and have a great time with some professional colleagues, and then watch the stuff when you have time on, you know, holiday break or in January when it's slower. Like, one of the biggest critiques of our event over the years is its timing in relation to fundraising, because late November is not, as you can imagine, super ideal. So this opens a whole new window of joy of, oh, I don't have to put a suit on for 3 days. I can just go to Congress and enjoy everything. And so I think that's really how we're going to bring it. And, you know, I don't want to spoil everything, but there are a few surprises in the works as well. So for anybody who registers, keep an eye on your mailbox.
Yeah, and it's, I love how Margaret was saying earlier, it's like many, many nonprofits are in this place, right? Like, I think we're starting to realize like this is also going to be next year potentially, right? For a lot of us. And, there's golf tournaments and there's galas, and there's dinners and like there are conferences and educational experiences that all nonprofits are doing. So what are some of the biggest lessons that you and your team have learned that you want to share with people if they're facing that for next year?
Yeah, I think it's that anyone can do this. Don't get discouraged. Don't think it's too big. Don't think that it's not possible. There are solutions that are cost effective out there. There are people who want to help you out there. And no matter what people tell you about Zoom fatigue, which I do believe is a thing as someone who has had it, people are desperate for interaction. And they're desperate to help and still want to participate in causes they care about, in events that they want to do. It's just about fully setting aside what you've done before and thinking about it in a whole new way. So, I don't purport to be an expert on golf tournaments, but there are a million different, Wii games, and, you could just do mini putt things in people's homes. Like, there's so many different things that you can do, but it takes more effort. And I think especially during this time when there is so much that we want to have brain space for between work and life and everything else, it's hard to carve out that space and to rethink an entire event. Just saying those words is exhausting. So I think it's just believing in yourself, believing that people will come if you build it, and then just putting your best gosh darn effort into it, because people will rally behind you if you have the right attitude of the can do and the it's going to happen. And I certainly have my days. I have that dog meme of the this is fine where the fire is behind them. That's my general desktop setting. So I have my moments, but I think, people want to do this. People want, if they were going to attend the golf tournament, they're looking for something to do with your organization. So just open the door and people will come.
One of the things I love about what you're saying, Laura, is this idea of asking for help. And it's such an important leadership skill, and it's one that so many people struggle with. Do you have a little anecdote, an example? Like, where's the place where you said, I need help, and it has materialized for you?
This is where my connection with Janice is going to come into play, because she's going to know I am terrible at asking for help.
So it was a perfect question.
Yeah, I'm notorious. I think I can take this on myself, but it really was in the moment where, the chapter said, yes, here's the go ahead. Here, this is your budget. We need you to just generate as much revenue as possible from this event so that, the chapter can continue to succeed, and also to service our membership. And it was this servicing of the membership, which has always been a passion of mine, that I went, I can't do it alone, and I'm servicing a membership. That means there are people there who want to help. And so I sent the email to my then management committee, and I said, listen, here's where we're at. Here's what I'm proposing. It's a bit, nutty, but it's going to be fun. And, we're going to learn a lot of things. And when all of them wrote back saying I'm in, it was a moment where I just knew, like, okay, I have the right people and I have the right attitude, and this is going to happen. And, come heck or high water, I will put on an event on November 23rd. So that's, where I stand.
Yeah. I love that. And I think, like, there was something you said earlier too that I just want to like circle back to, which is like there was a moment of just letting go of what it was, and like letting yourself actually grieve. I mean, I think it's been important during this time. Like there's been so much reckoning, in the world over the last 6 months, and we have to let ourselves grieve what we've lost. But until you actually let go, Laura, like you weren't able to conceive that this could be a positive thing and that you could do things in a way that actually is going to serve people better. Your event's going to be so much more accessible to people.
Totally. Yeah. I had to grieve it, and I did. I don't say that lightly. I really did grieve what I thought my future was, where I thought I was going. I was grieving the loss of my freedom because of COVID and all of that all at once. And it just felt so big and so heavy. And when I, to your point, Janice, kind of changed my thinking that something was possible, it not only made me think, okay, I can make this event happen, but it also has made life a bit easier. I'm very goals oriented, and having Congress taken away was very, not taken away, but kind of taken away. It was demotivating. So to have it back on the table, I'm getting more work done. I'm a better partner. You know, even though I'm busier, I just have the motivation. I have the excitement behind it. And now I am so proud of what we are pulling together in a way that I probably would have been for other Congress, not knowing what I was missing with not Congress. So you have to clear that space. You got to clear the cobwebs, and then just see this golden opportunity as brand new and something so different in front of you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Laura, we've talked a ton about the creativity that's going into the platform and the delivery of all of this. Just spend a minute talking about the content. What's been the opportunity to create content from the chaos of 2020?
Yeah, it's such a unique opportunity and so fun. I mean, there is so much going on in the world that directly connects to fundraising. You know, obviously COVID is a huge thing that people are talking about. You know, our food bank friends, our shelter friends, they definitely have a lot of stories to tell about donors coming in, and we have other organizations who are having a really hard time. That's a lot to talk about right there. And how do you deal with the change management within organizations? But on a broader scale, by going virtual, we've been able to invite speakers from all over the world without worry of a travel budget. And, you know, our biggest concern now is time zones, just making sure that we're not scheduling them at 2 a.m. But we also have this unique opportunity because we're doing it on a tighter timeline, and because it's virtual, that things like the We scandal that have happened, we can program up against that, even though it's developing day to day. And, you know, certainly one of the biggest critiques that our event has faced over the years is the lack of representation of our membership up there speaking. It has been a lot of, to quote a good friend of mine, male pale scale over the last little bit. We've been making inroads, but there was always this, you know, we need to have good people at the conference so that we can sell tickets. So we wanted to have, and I'm putting this in quotations for your listeners, big fundraising names. But the problem, of course, with that is you just perpetuate the same names over and over, and we weren't creating enough space for new voices and new names. And while I will always hold in my heart these known fundraisers, I am so excited to be putting forward content from new voices, different lived experiences, including some of our master classes, one which will feature an Indigenous elder speaking about his lived experience, and one by a woman who will be speaking about Black allyship specifically, and how all of that intersects with fundraising. And these were opportunities that we couldn't have access necessarily because of budget before, and now because we are virtual, we have some space to pay for the right speakers to get them in the right spot. I'm very proud of the content that Congress has put out over the years. I would never say anything negative about that, but I am incredibly proud of the progress and work we've done this year.
Yeah, that's great. And you know, and another, like you've alluded to, another bonus of this is really that, you know, we've always had people, I mean, the events here in Toronto where I live, and people have always come in from across the country, and you've had speakers from around the world, but even more so this year, you know, our international listeners and US listeners would be able to participate. So why don't you tell us when Not Congress is? Like, we'll put this in the show notes, but give us the pitch, Laura.
For sure, absolutely. So it is Not Congress can be found at the AFT Toronto website, so afttoronto.org/Not Congress. But if you just go to afttoronto.org, you'll get there, no problem. The event is November 23rd through 25th, entirely virtual. As I say, if you buy your ticket, you have access to all the content for 6 months after the fact. And there's all kinds of fun activities and little surprises along the way. The early bird membership rate is $99. The early bird rate goes till October 2nd, and prices will go up after that, but not too much, because financial accessibility is key in a year when people are getting laid off. And so if you have any questions at all, I'm always available on Twitter at Charitable Laura.
Great. All right. Well, thank you, Laura. And yeah, it's really, I just think I love the journey. Like you really, I especially want to thank you for sharing the hard part, right? Like the grieving and the disappointment and how you navigated through that. Cause I think it's important for people to allow themselves to process these things, and then to let go, and to create something even better. So thank you for being with us. And we want to invite everyone, if you've enjoyed listening to this bonus episode, we'd love for you to subscribe to the podcast on iTunes, Google Play, and Spotify. Every week we have a chance to welcome guests from the nonprofit sector, and we have these kind of inspiring and enlightening conversations with them. So thanks for listening, everyone. Curiosity.